Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Hello and welcome to Countryside here on Manx Radio. I'm Simon Clark.
And I'm Kiri Kermode. This week we take another look back at this Southern District Agricultural Show.
We were round the marquees talking to people with various stands and also people involved in the young farmers' world in the cookery competition, plus maybe a bit of a sample of gin. Well, we said on last week's programme when we announced all the champions, supreme champions of the Southern Show, the judges, the presidents, and it didn't give us really much time, Kiri, to chat to some of the people round about in the show field.
That's right. It was a very busy show field indeed, especially with everything that's going on in the world at the minute. It was still turned out with their wares, and it was a fantastic marquee display there by DEFA in particular, and all of the rest of the arts and crafts and the produce around the place. And it was I found in the beer tent.
Yes, we'll come to that very shortly. But we talked to various people about breeds of sheep, about horses. But firstly, I caught up with Desi Robinson, who was busy with a load of reeds or something like that. And I asked him what he was up to.
It's a bumby cage. It's a old traditional. All right, Craig. It's an old traditional craft that I suppose really all the children would be taught by the parents, you know, in the old days, and it's a craft really that's died out, and it's just really John Dog and myself and another chap from the north of the island, Kevin Quayle, sort of try and pass the knowledge on to people who are interested.
Now, the purpose of these cages was mainly for the younger generation? That's
right. There was a live bumblebee put in one of these cages, and to the whole folk a bumblebee was a bad fairy, and it was put inside one of these cages to teach it a lesson. And the children were told that when you went to bed, if they said the prayers for the spirit of the bad fairy, they could change it by the power of prayer back into a good fairy, give it its magic back, and then the fairy could magic its way out of the bumby cage. So when the children went to bed, fell asleep, the parents would sneak into the room, undo the top of the bumby cage, and let the bumby out. And when the kids got up in the morning, the bumby cage would be empty, or there'd be a seashell left in it. It was just really a way of getting the children to say their prayers, you know, at night. But it's a good method, yeah.
So similar in a way to the tooth fairy.
That's it. You've got it. And it's a really, I mean, you can see it's a really simple skill. You know, it's a.
But the materials are the plentiful. Is it the willow you use?
No. This is rush. This is the rush. This is the rush that you get down in any standing water or ponds or near the sides of a river, and it's got to be cut 3 days and be left for 3 days before you use it. Otherwise, it can be very brittle on you. You see, at the moment, it's just it's lovely to work with. You know, it's lovely and soft. It's not breaking, and I think with it drying out a bit too, you got the nice colours. You got the greens and the yellows and the browns of it. You know.
Well, they're still an attractive toy, aren't they? And still fascinates the children, doesn't it?
Children are absolutely fascinated by it. To all the listeners, we don't use bumblebees now. It's periwinkles, or the Manx word for the periwinkle is for gog. That's you get the lovely yellow ones. I like to pick the yellow ones.
So they sort of use it as a rattle.
That's it. That's it, as a rattle. Just pick one up there, fella, and give it a shake. There you go.
Yeah. Still fascinating. Well, keep up the good work.
Okay, cheers now. Thanks very much.
Well, a man who had donned the parish walking hat for a while had a different hat on him last week, Kiri.
A very knowledgeable man indeed in Ray Cox, the organiser of the horse section in particular at the Southern District Agricultural Show. And it was a little bit unfortunate this year. They had to postpone the show jumping, with the ground being terribly, terribly hard and dry. And I caught up with Ray to talk about the disappointment. Well, Ray Cox, it's been a busy weekend and now we're coming to the close of the second day of the Southern Show. How has the horse and pony section been?
Well, we had a great day yesterday, very successful. I think the setup was well received. It's nice to have the nice big rings, plenty of space, and overall it was a good day, very good day.
And I suppose with a new venue, these are unknown quantities, whether the ring is in the right position, whether it's the right size, whether the ground is of the right condition for the horses that are coming to compete. These are all factors you had to have in the back of your mind setting it all up.
Indeed. So when you're faced with such a big wide space, it's difficult to know exactly what to do, and I think we've already learned that we need to have the rings in a different place next year, so we've already got plans in our heads for that. And I think the ground is the other big issue, and of course you're the victim of the weather. No matter what you say, it's either too wet, it's either too dry, and whatever. So this year it was unfortunate we had to make the decision not to jump, and I think when you take away the jumping, it's a spectacle that people love to see. They love to see the show jumping, and Sunday, would be a big part of this show. So to lose the jumping on grounds for safety was a hard decision.
And that is just purely because the ground is too hard and the horses wouldn't be able to manage that?
Yeah, it would be what I would call unsafe ground. So in other words, asking people to compete with their horses on ground like that could lead to injury, and that's not. None of us want to see that.
No. And how were the rest of the classes? Obviously, the flat classes. There was a lot of young children about here in horse riding outfits yesterday, covered in rosettes.
Yeah, I think they had a great day. So we have a very varied programme here, a very full programme, very, very busy. So they had lots of classes, they were getting into it. And to be honest, I was very impressed with the level of competition. The winners are good, and they would stand up to any competition in the UK.
Wow, that's something to be be very, very proud of here on the island. And your daughter, is she competing today?
Yeah, she was jumping in the hoist qualifier in Southview today. So she was clear in the first round and had one down in the second. So no qualification today, unfortunately.
Wow, but she keeps trying. A great privilege to have her represent the Isle of Man, but we're very proud of her.
Yeah, she does well, I must say, and she works hard. Like all athletes work hard, and of course we're looking at the Olympics, aren't we? And we're seeing the pinnacle of the sports. But of course, all those people started at a much lower level, putting the hard yards in and whatever. So, that's what we do. Yeah.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Amy Rothwell, a busy weekend for you as a horse and pony supervisor. How did it all go for you?
Yeah, it was good, thanks, Kiri. We were pleased with how yesterday went. We're a bit disappointed about today. How the weather has been on the ground. It was just too hard to, health and safety wise, look after our horses and our Manx equestrians. Decision was made, so we had to go with that. But overall, yesterday was a good day. The entries were good. Not as good as they could have been, but again, we were pleased with them. New grounds, And
after the year we've had, lots of shows being cancelled, lots of events being cancelled, it was just probably nice for some of those riders just to get back out again in the crowds, enjoying a bit of what they love, I suppose.
Absolutely, yeah, and it was so nice. I think everyone had a nice time, and like you say, to get back out, and we're lucky we've had a show. We're really lucky.
And it was really lovely to see them come into the Grand Parade there yesterday, the winners in all of their sashes and their ribbons tied around their bellies. It just looked amazing.
Absolutely, that's, for the little ones especially, that's a highlight. And I remember as a child, I loved it, going into that Grand Parade and everyone watching. It was fantastic, and we were hoping for a few more horses in the parade, but we were happy with who went in.
Well, the thing is, it's no mean feat for them. It's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people around. This is probably something that they don't see on their yards back home. It's usually probably quite quiet and just pottering around. So to get out there in the bright lights,
a huge atmosphere, and that's. A few people would have seen a quick exit from some of them. I'll come back to that in a minute, though. But it is a huge atmosphere for them to deal with. So even the little ones, the older ones, they all do so well to deal with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The foal in the Grand Parade won our Manx Bread Award.
Yes, with foal born, this year's foal.
Wow! And she did look really, really well.
Yeah,
she running alongside
that's
her mum.
Vicky Hargreaves, owned by Michelle Hargreaves.
They'd be a well-known people from
Conrenny, Conrenny Equestrian Centre, and they won our Manx Bread class, which was Conrenny Mr. Bojangles, and he was first in his breeding class. And the mum is Conrenny Miss Moneypenny, homebred, and the dad is Conrenny Windsong. And like I said, it was Vicky Hargreaves, the handler, and Michelle Hargreaves, owner.
Conrenny Winsong, the dad is, or the sire is also homebred.
Oh, lovely. So that's even more special, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was Manx bred, which is judged in our overall, isn't it, Jen?
Yeah, overall light horse section, the best of the Manx breds in that lineup. There is a chosen winner.
Would there be many horses bred on the Isle of Man anymore? Because obviously transport to the UK now is easy. It's, is it easy just to go and buy one ready-made as such?
There is quite a lot of breeders on the Isle of Man. I would say probably within the pony sections, the majority of them would be Conrenny bred.
Wow.
So yeah, and there's always loads of them, and they're always fantastic ponies.
Yeah. And saying that, there were so many little ones out on ponies yesterday, and the big beaming smiles, like you said, going around that main ring was just lovely.
It was, yeah, and we've got our overall reserve of the light horse section was 6-year-old Hattie Pepper.
6 years old.
6 years old.
My
word. She was riding her pony Harry, Moonstruck Sea Serpent, and Harry is 8 years old. They've owned him for 2 years now. And she won her lead rein Mountain and Moorland, and then she was champion Mountain and Moorland, and then she went reserve light horse overall to Jess Collister riding It's the President.
Well, Jess Collister's no stranger of the show ring either, is she? She's been a grand rider over the years in the UK and on the Isle of Man.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job yesterday in that Grand Parade with Lincoln. He has his quirks. He can be very nervous on his own or at busy atmospheres, hence the quick exit yesterday. So Jess decided it was time to take him out. It was a shame that she wasn't in that lineup, because I do think she could have done very well, but she had to do what was right, and she had to take him out.
What a shame. But the viewing that we did have him, he really, really was a magnificent horse.
She's done a super job with him, and he's an 11-year-old Irish sports horse, and she bought him as an unbacked 3-year-old. Unbacked 3-year-olds in September 2013. He was first in the hunter class. He was champion horse, and he was our overall light horse champion. And it's his second time overall light horse champion at the Southern. He was 6 years old when he first took the title. So hope, she's produced him herself and to have those titles.
And how hard would it to be to take him from an unbacked horse like that to a champion?
Very hard, and especially when they're quirky.
She says quirky. Does this mean he's a bit unpredictable, or just a youngster in his ways?
I don't know him too well. I've seen Jess on him at shows, and I wouldn't say he was always the easiest for him, but she does an amazing job.
She presents him well. She always does a super job with him, and they are both a pleasure to watch in the ring all the time, and he really is a special horse.
Yeah. So it was a great success all round then, Amy. How was it for the closure of the weekend?
Very good, yes, and it's quite nice for me and Jen to just have a stroll around the field actually. And
yeah, you pair would normally be showing yourselves, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we would, yeah. So we don't bring our own, Amy's daughter bought her pony, but I didn't bring mine to the show. I said that I would help with the running of the light horse section, and today we would normally be helping with the workers and the show jumping. So
a day off.
We don't normally get a trip around.
So let's hope that the Royal Manx will go ahead. It's like you say, it's the unknown of the weather and so many unpredictables, but yeah, brilliant.
I think we do need a little bit of rain to hope for the jumping to happen there too, don't we?
Oh, so fingers crossed. We've got to do some rain dances.
I'm sorry for those that don't want rain, but we do.
We need it. Yeah. Overall, good.
Yeah.
Amy, on a side note, it was a very, very successful day for your family in the sheep side of the show. Again, coming through in the ribbons, Alan and Alison Rothwell, they worked tirelessly with the sheep, and this time it was a ewe lamb.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had this particular breed in the ring, but it was lovely to see, and it was just fantastic to actually make it into the Grand Parade. It was a Border Leicester ewe lamb, sire Intok Mananan by Drennan's Dazzler, and dam is a Didcot ewe by Muirmouth Magic.
And would these be genetics that your dad and mum would have brought in from the UK, or would they just keep adding to every now and again?
Yeah, just as you know, they went out of the border Leicesters and not long got back into them, so it's building back up now. We go away occasionally, and
but like you say, they went out with them. They were very successful before they did disperse to them.
The last time they won in the Grand Parade was back in 2010, so it's been a while. It's like I say, it was nice to see them back in the ring with.
But they work hard also in the tickets again with the Beltexes that morning in the classes.
Yeah, it was a busy year this year, and I didn't realise all 4 breeds were actually coming myself until I've had COVID, so I was in lockdown. So I got out Friday and was washing sheep with Mum, and it wasn't until then I realised that the blue-faced Leicesters were going, the Texels were going, the Beltex were going, and also the border Leicesters, but presented so well. And it's, as you know, they take so much pride in what they do, and they had a successful day, and it always makes it better.
Turned out to the absolute standard that the pair of them are known for, and they've got a great team of people around them helping.
Absolutely, yeah. Jake Fair, he's on board with us now, and cousin Abby Jackson and Uncle Robert Jackson as well. So we couldn't do it without them. We need the team, and
it's a great day out for all of them. All of that work will have taken months, if not years, to get those sheep to the standard that they are at.
Absolutely. It's like anything. It doesn't happen overnight, does it? And you know yourself, it's hard work, and Mum and Dad put so much time and effort into it, and
to come away with that championship in the long wool, and then in that Grand Parade there to be stood in that final lineup was just
first in class. Long wool champion, like you say, icing on the cake. Just to see Mum in that ring was just enough for me, and enough for Alan as well, probably, hopefully.
That was Amy Rothwell and Jenny Cryer with the results of the horse section, and before that, Ray Cox.
You're listening to Countryside here on Manx Radio with Kiri Kermode and myself, Simon Clark, looking back at various aspects of the very successful Southern District Agricultural Show.
After leaving the horse section, I popped into the Deffer Marquee to see who was the award-winning stand this year, and it was Bollokelly. Well, Dave, it's the end of the Southern Show. New venue. How has it been?
It's been fantastic. Just to see as many people that have been here, turn out in what must be the biggest event so far since lockdown. It's been fantastic. I think the organisation was wonderful. Lots of space for people to feel safe walking around and talking to each other, between all the venues. And we've done particularly well with sausages and whatever else. The Wagyu story's gone down very well this weekend, I guess, where we've tried to add some value to the dairy herds by crossing dairy cows with Wagyu bulls to make their offspring a lot more edible than they usually are, and that story has been well received, I think, by the public generally. Really,
really good. And like I see, the shelves are empty here on the Bollokelly stand. It is always a good sign after an event like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, a lot of hard work goes into getting the shelves full in the first place, so Farmer Al and Rachel have been working their backsides off all week to make sure that we had enough stock. But as you can see, yes, we've had a very successful couple of days.
Yeah, and it's always good seeing the frying pan on there with all the tasters. That's a real good selling point.
It really is, yeah. And just making sure, though, sometimes we don't smoke out the whole tent. But the smell certainly attracts people. And Michelle has done a fantastic job. 2 days up the hot plate, serving up some amazing sausages and pork chops and burgers. So yeah, we've had a great weekend.
Chris, the Wagyu beef seems to have gone down really well. Now that's a new story to the Isle of Man. It's beef that we don't generally produce here.
No, something a bit different, something hopefully that appeals to the wider market, high value, trying to add some value down the supply chain for everybody.
And this has been your idea, you're a family farm at home there, and this is diversification, I guess.
Yeah, it's all born out of some of the meetings I suppose I sat in 3-4 years ago, and they wanted to add value to, I suppose, a byproduct of the dairy industry. And we've worked away trying to find a way to do that, and the Wagyu seemed to be a good thing for the beef, for the dairy producers. and then we take them on from the dairy herds and rear them on.
And how has this come about today? This is obviously Manx produced beef now.
Yeah, so a Japanese breed, renowned for its quality and its flavour and its high marbling. And it seemed logical that after I brought them home to Derby, that we took them next door to our neighbours at Ballykelly and butchered them and brought them here today.
Yep. And how did this come about? Would you have used embryo transfer, or it's quite a modern approach?
So we just AI, use the semen, AI the dairy cows, and then the dairy farmers rear them calves on for us, and then we take them from there.
Yeah, and it's obviously seemed to be quite successful, and lots of questions asked. It's a very new thing, but obviously the shelves are empty.
Yeah, no, we're all sold out. It's gone down really well. The taste has gone down really well, and I think people are surprised to see it here. But yeah, this is amazing what people will buy and how much they'll spend.
Yeah, absolutely.
For that premium product. So.
Brill. And Rachel and Alan are missing here this evening, but I believe it's been a long, hard week or two getting ready for the show.
Yeah, it always is, I think. A lot of effort goes into getting here. It takes a lot to cut and prep and make sausages, but yeah, no, it's all been worth it.
That was David Wormold from Ballykelly Farm and Chris Neal talking about the Wagyu beef. I popped along then to the Young Farmers Cookery competition where they were in mid-flow and caught up with Georgie Revel.
So everyone's a winner in my eyes, but first place goes to Southern.
So what did you do? What was it? What was the starter? Was it?
So we had a Manx platter to start with lots of homegrown veg and local sausages and stuff like that. Then we had a jewelled quinoa salad, which is a bit interesting because I've never cooked quinoa before, but I think it went all right.
Excellent.
And then we had drop scones and blackberry Eton mess for dessert, and homemade lemonade as well.
Oh, lovely. And Georgie, what was your thoughts?
Oh, it's fantastic. I want to know where their source of fresh blackberries has come from, because I haven't found any yet, and I think it's been sunnier in the north than it has in the south, so I'm very surprised about that. But no, what incredible what you can do in a tent with very limited space and cooking facilities, and with an hour just to prepare everything. So they've all done amazingly well. I'm very, very proud.
Johan, and we're finally finished in the Young Farmers Cookery. What was that an experience?
It was amazing, and definitely some skills there, like not just but to be in a field and to come up with such a nice picnic. I was really impressed. Definitely, if they look for a job in a kitchen, I'm more than happy to put my name on it.
Excellent.
No, definitely, they were done.
To think how young they are and using everything Manx.
That's it, and once again we go back to being in a field and not in a professional kitchen. So and you can see they're so proud of using Manx products and to tell us where it comes from. So no, definitely. I'm very proud of all of them.
Excellent, well done. Well, I'll let you go and get in the photographs now. Thank you. Brian Neal, well, that's the cookery competition done for another year, and what a crowded tent we had all watching, and well, what fantastic 4 entrants we had.
Yeah, I'm so pleased. It was such a good turnout. Each club had a full team, and then obviously we had so many people in the tent here watching. I've got a bit of a sweat on it. It's so warm in here with the amount of people we had, but no, it was brilliant, and each club did so well, and their presentation, the food they cooked, it was just brilliant. Lots of colourful Manx produce, which you can't beat.
This is it, and we've caught Stevie here stealing strawberries dipped in chocolate. A very elaborate.
I had a few, Kerry, but you just missed out. But awfully sorry.
Yeah, people are racing to the tables.
What was your favourite, Stevie?
My favourite part of the whole competition is just seeing complete novices, people that aren't usually in the way of cooking their own meals, that can come here today and take minimal equipment and put on a nice spread, and like Georgie and Johan said today, to be able to come into a field with a handful of knives and things like that and put a nice spread, nice picnic that they've done today. I think it's just amazing. It's not even just about the food they put on, it's the way they've been able to do it with minimal resources. That's what does it for me.
Exactly. And we've got no electricity. They brought little gas burners, that's all they had, and then their own equipment, no water or anything like that, so they brought that themselves.
I
really
do
good.
think Georgie from the Cook Shack there and Johan, the chef from the Governor's House himself, they were blown away by it. Their compliments and their remarks in the final spreadsheet was just fantastic.
Yeah, really good and really thorough. And I think it's always nice for the clubs to hear the feedback. You know, they might not do the cookery competition again, but at least, you know, they can hear what the judges liked and enjoyed about their thing, because they have put a lot of effort in at the end of the day. So
it's quite a confidence boost as well for the people that were taking part. For someone like Johan, who is like at the top of his game as a chef, to compliment them on what they've done today. And I was walking around with him while he was doing the judging, and he was amazed at just how well people have done. He thought it was fantastic, and he's that amazed he's actually offered to come back and help young farmers. He's going to do like a workshop, do demonstrations and things as well.
So it's brilliant. He's obviously very impressed. So
excellent.
Can't do better than that, can you?
Really good. And young farmers just generally is a huge movement and still going from strength to strength.
Yeah, definitely. We had the stock judging down here yesterday at 9:30, which was a really good turnout. Some great stock as well for them to judge. And then we've got loads of things in the pipeline. We'll be back at the Royal Show in our tent, so everyone will have to come see that. We'll have our brand spanking new 2022 Young Farmers calendar for sale there. And then we've got heaps more on throughout the year, haven't we?
Yeah, hopefully for the Royal Show too. We've got our giant deck chairs. Our branded young Farmers deck chairs, so anybody wants to get...
Who fancies getting stuck in them?
Definitely. And then loads in the pipeline. We've got a date at the Villa Marina for Winter Welly Wonderland. So we're having a big 75th anniversary bash with hopefully some special guests, DJs, bands. So those tickets will go out on sale soon, so everyone needs to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, it's great that the year can progress maybe a little bit more normal than we've had. This last couple of years has been terribly difficult on all charities.
Yeah, normal but very jam-packed, I would say. Just trying to get everything in now before the end of the year.
Yeah, it has been difficult, but we have done what we can to get all the events in that we normally hold, but try and compress them into the 2/3 of the year that we've had, because the 4 months that we've had out, although it was almost like a welcome break to some people to be able to get that chance to get themselves back together again, but hopefully by the end of the year we're back to normal again, and be able to have things 12 months of the year like we usually do.
Yeah.
That was Bryony Neal and Stevie Corrin from the Federation of Young Farmers, and Georgie Revel, the judge of the cookery competition there in the Young Farmers marquee.
Excellent stuff. Well, we're glad we got all those recordings hopefully in on the programme. If you missed any of it, don't forget, go to the Manx Radio website and you can go to the Listen Again or the podcasts and you'll hear all the interviews in full on there. Next week, we're looking ahead to, we'll be looking back, I suppose, next week at a Royal Manx Agricultural Show.
Yes, everybody getting prepared again for another lovely outing, all being well, and the weather will hold, we hope, just about. But the rain has come at the right time for the farms. Everybody's delighted that a bit of rain has come and greened up the fields around the countryside. So it's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
It is indeed. That's it for this week's Countryside. We're back next Tuesday with more. So until then, from me, Simon Clark.
And me, Kiri Kermode.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.